This is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1, and today I'm going to talk about the art of deception and Timothy Charles Holmseth. These two subjects are actually one and the same. For Timothy Charles Holmseth is the master of the art of deception. Today, I am going to offer two examples of Timothy Holmseth's art of deception. And they're both related to this Pentagon pedophile task force that Tim Holmseth advocates along with Bill McConnell. How did he come up with this? Partly he came up with it through an article that came out where Donald J. Trump said that he's going to get involved in combating this problem, which is a subject that's been out there for quite some time. Holmseth saw this and ran with it. But he also came up with what he claimed was support material. Now, everybody knows about this Marine platoon, squadron, whatever you want to call it. They went out and saved a couple thousand kids from underground bunkers in California, and because they blew up something, they set all these fires which destroyed homes and killed people. I guess you could call it collateral damage. I mean, they had to save the kids after all, even if they burned down $1 billion worth of houses in the process, made people homeless, lose their life savings and so forth in order to save a few thousand kids. And one of the things you saw, and you see all the time on Timothy Holmseth's Facebook page, you see it on Randy's Facebook page, is a picture of a bunch of troops getting on board an aircraft. And this is supposed to be this task force out there saving these kids. Well, it isn't. As always, Tim stole the image for his own purposes. It actually has to do with troops being deployed to the Middle East. Timothy conveniently took the picture, nice little Photoshop style photo editor, and recreated the image to suit his own purposes. And thus we have the pedophile task force. Rather convenient. People don't take the time to research. All these people that follow Tim and Phil McConnell and the rest of them, they're not going to sit there and take the time to research the origins of this photograph. Some of them don't have the knowledge to do that. Majority of those that follow Timothy and Field and the rest of them are just regular people, housewives, people that don't know how to do backtracing of things, and they just go along with all this. And these people become their heroes. They send them their donations, they write letters of praise, and since these people are Christian and pray to God and all that, they see these fellow Christians doing all this good work. And so Holmseth gets away with it. Alright, now we move into how Timothy Charles Holmseth got involved with this task force to begin with. And there's actually two parts to this story. The first part started before the Pentagon pedophile task force even existed in Tim Holmseth's mind, because that's the only place it exists. A few years ago, Timothy Holmseth came across a picture, I'm not sure how he did, of a baby on a platter, surrounded by vegetables. And he used that picture in an article where he said children were being sacrificed by Satanists. They were being eaten, their blood was being sucked, blah, 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 blah. And everybody that saw the picture was very upset. They couldn't understand why people would do such a thing, and he was instantly a celebrity because he had found all this proof. Well, it turned out that he was deceiving people in a big way. And he basically was stealing people's work. Now, first off, I think the photograph is in poor taste. I think the woman responsible for the picture is weird. But the child in the picture was not being sacrificed. The child in the picture was not going to be eating. The child in the picture is perfectly fine. For it was a joke. Kind of a sick joke, but it was a joke. And the person that took the photograph is a woman that is very well known in Russia for making these pictures. There's a book full of them. The woman basically took babies, put them in different settings surrounded by vegetables and called them vegetable babies. Wrote a book, made a bunch of rubles on it. And if it hadn't have been for somebody criticizing a journalist, we probably never would have known about the picture. And it's probably how Tim Holmseth found out about it. He probably saw the article about the reporter, maybe by me because I wrote about it, and decided to create the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. So, at any rate, Holmseth has this picture, creates a non-existent pedophile task force from it, and we now know the backstory. Just another way that we know that Timothy Charles Holmseth takes material from another source, alters the meaning of the material, and deceives people by misrepresenting what it is he's found. And if people were to take the time to do the research, they would find out that this is what Tim Holmseth does. He steals things. He then takes the things that he steals and changes them to suit himself. He's a deceiver. He's a liar. He fools people that sincerely want to believe in him, that want to believe what he is saying is true. Now, why people would want to believe that children are being eaten and their blood being drank at these rituals is beyond me. But I think the reason for believing this stuff is that they want to believe that Tim is actually doing something about it by exposing this problem. When in fact all Tim Holmseth is doing is completely making things up. Now, are there problems with sex trafficking and so on and so forth? Yes. But not in the way that Tim Holmseth and others represent it. There is no vast conspiracy. There aren't all these satanic rituals going on all over the place. It simply isn't true. Tim Holmseth, Neil McConnell, and others that get down this path are diverting from the actual truth, diverting from actual instances of this sort of thing and who is really behind it. And by doing this deception, Holmseth and others are making matters worse, because it is drawing attention away from the true criminals and allowing them to get away with their crimes. And this is what people need to think about. That Tim Holmseth Field McConnell and others are making it possible for the things that they say they want to prevent to actually happen, because they're taking attention away from it, providing cover for those that actually engage in this sort of thing. And that's the sin of their deception. This is William K. Murtaugh, Earth Witness 1. Have a good one.